Good morning from the 2018 Tire Rack SCCA Solo Nationals, everybody. We're outside, probably one of the few times we're going to be able to be outside today because it has been is wet an understatement, Heyward? Yes, a wet 2018 Solo Nationals so far. I wanted to talk to Heyward Wagner a little bit from the SCCA. They're a special projects manager now.
Sure, we'll go with that.
So, and one of the principals of the event today, because this has been a controversial event so far, we could say, because of the weather. Just wanted to have Heyward fill everybody in on what some of the challenges have been, what some of the triumphs have been despite the conditions, and how one of the largest motorsports championships in the world deals with immensely adverse conditions like these. So, Heyward, good morning, my friend.
Just happy to be here. How are you doing?
I'm great. I slept in a warm bed last night. I have a washer and dryer in my room. My shoes were in the dryer for quite a while last night. I'm doing all right.
Well, it's you're right. It has been a very challenging event, and there have been some controversial and very hard decisions that have had to have been made. And I really appreciate an opportunity. We're sitting here, and over the camera I can see the Wagner crew trying to get their easy up, and it looks like hang gliding. It's been a very challenging week. It's only Tuesday.
So let's describe some of the conditions. We've got the largest entries ever for this event, 1,400 people. All 1,400 of them are present and accounted for. And then we've had, since Friday, close to 7 inches of rain here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Now, as somebody that organizes events myself, what contingency plans are in place before the event even starts to handle adversities like those?
Well, let's start with the 1,400 number, because there's a lot of chatter right now on social about, was that the right call, was that the wrong call? Keep in mind, Solo Nationals never had a cap until the last 3 years, and the cap for the last 3 years has been 1,300 or 1,350. The decision was bumped up to 1,400 because we felt like we could clear the wait list with that cap, which we did. We did not have anybody left on the wait list for this event, and it's very important for the SCCA to be able to stand on the idea that this is an event that everybody can get into. Autocross is a sport of access, and to have a sport of access, we need to have a national championship event that stands firmly on the idea that you can come and do this as your first autocross, as your only autocross of the year. So, but I think what people miss on the 1,400 number that's super important, traditionally a really big nationals was 1,200 people, and this year at 1,400, we're 200 above that. Well, that's not 200 per day, that's 50 per day. And when you talk about a 20-second release, 50 per day, 200 more people from a 1,200 point is an addition of about 45 minutes of time. And we didn't miss yesterday by 45 minutes. We missed yesterday by hours because of weather, because of breakage, and you can make an argument that breakage rates go up as numbers go up, but this truly was a perfect storm of inopportune things happening all in one day.
Right, the math just based on the people still works out fairly well. You should be able to get everybody in and through. So describe, and I hate to bring you up here and make you tell horror stories, but again, as somebody that puts events on, I love hearing somebody else's sad story because it makes me feel better. We put on an ultimate track car challenge this year, and VIR practically washed out from under us. There were hillsides sliding onto the track. So what were some of the issues you guys faced yesterday?
So I think if you haven't shared it, you will be sharing the Julian Garfield YouTube video of the E-Mod car yesterday. It was not wet. It was standing water from start line to finish line on both tracks. This was not drying conditions or changing conditions. The first couple of heats yesterday was running in a very low-level lake. And the challenges that brings, people were getting lost because of visibility. Cone boxes were washing away. We had very few electronic issues. The timing systems were very durable yesterday. We didn't have any real issues there. But, you know, the rate of spins goes up. The rate of people getting lost goes up. We had 2 separate incidents of people having such poor visibility and so that they ended up on the wrong course. So, you know, that created a complication because when SCCA rules dictate that that Formula Junior, we can't have other cars on course with Formula Junior. So when we had our Formula Junior cars on course, we had to shut down both courses because we had issues with people getting to the wrong course. Those types of 2-minute, 3-minute, 5-minute delays, those add up to an hour. Hours compile, and you know, 2005. We talked a lot about 2005 when we got to the end of the day and still had cars to run. on one course. This is the first time in Nationals history we've gotten to the end of the day with cars still running past legal sunset on both courses.
And to some extent, when you make a call based on safety, it's going to be disappointing to some people, but there's not a lot of wiggle room there when you got junior karts crossing over onto the wrong course because they physically can't see where they're going because there's so much water. Yeah, you got to shut stuff down. So the question, what's been done so far to sort of make this event get through these 2 days, and what are you going to learn for future events that you might want to implement down the road besides just putting a giant dome over the 400 acres here at Lincoln?
Well, I think the most controversial thing so far is that we had to stop the 6th heat on the East course yesterday. Most drivers had 2 runs in the book. One driver only had 1, and then come back the morning and finish that. And to me, I have been at Nationals and had my event ruined because of changing conditions. I think a lot of people, if you do this game long enough, part of autocross is that somebody's going to get a dry run and somebody's not. And last night, the changing condition was not weather, it was light. And there was a lot of questions, well, if you knew you weren't going to get the whole heat in, you shouldn't have even started it. Well, the reality is if we hadn't even started it and we moved it all to this morning, then we're looking at doing 7 heats on a course that yesterday was taking 2 hours a heat. That's 14 hours. That means if we bumped start time up to 7 a.m., we're ending at 9 p.m. So it just doesn't fit in the box. And unfortunately, the 6 heat people, that is a Nationals experience we don't want anyone to ever have in any way, but we have to play the hand we're dealt. And just like if it had opened up deluge storm in the middle of the session, that would be a changing condition. In this circumstance, the changing condition was light.
So, and I've been on both sides of the equation. I've benefited from changing conditions before. I've been screwed by changing conditions before. So I understand that's how you have to play the game. What is anything going to be different next year going forward? What are we going to notice next year, other than praying for good weather? And part of the equation too is this is a 2-day championship over the course of 4 days. In one location in the country. There's no rescheduling this for 1,500 people that have taken time off work or that have altered their lifestyle. It happens when it happens. You make it happen the best it can. So anything you guys are looking at different for next year to maybe mitigate some of these potential late summer Midwest storms?
I think what we're going to do is we're going to pull all of the social media snarkicism, as I call it, into one pot, and we're just going to do all of the things. That's the no. I mean, obviously, Wednesday morning is not the time to start planning the 2019 Solo Nationals. We'll save that for Saturday. What we're doing this year is we're taking the walk breaks out in the middle of the day, which is unfortunate, but we have to put the priority on driving over walking. We're going to do some worker change on the fly. We're going to try to tighten up our release times. If we can just get through today without standing water conditions, that's going to have a huge effect on our timeline. These are our every year at Nationals. Tuesday and Wednesday are our fullest days. People from further away will decide not to come because it's a Tuesday, Wednesday class and they want to do the pro, and so we'll skip this year and come back next year. So Tuesday, Wednesday is always the fullest days. Thursday and Friday should be much easier days to execute. But yeah, I mean, I don't know of a scenario that we could have employed yesterday that would have changed the outcome. We just did not have autocrossing always comes down to a little bit of luck, and we did not have the luck with us yesterday. A lot of questions about, well, should we move junior karting? Should we hot lap junior karting? We're doing that today. We're to try to close some time up, but junior karting is a part of our sport, and it's an important part of our sport. There are a lot of families that are only able to do this because it is a family activity for them, and so it's not on the table to remove junior karting from the event. We can look at other ways to do it, but I don't foresee the 2019 Solo Nationals feeling very different from the 2018, other than, good Lord willing, a lot drier.
Well, Heyward, I certainly do not envy the position that you find yourself in, because I've been here myself more than a few times. We're having to make some alterations to the 2018 18 Challenge this year because they're repaving our drag strip. So we've had to alter, one of our signature events to accommodate environmental conditions. So, yeah, while I do not envy you, I respect the job that you're doing. And yes, and you have one more thing. What is that one more thing? And I'm sad that it won't be that we're getting another course walk break because I've only walked that East course once.
Stay tuned. If we get ahead of schedule, we'll use the time wisely. I'll say that. I think the most important thing is that there are some people here that have had really bad experiences because of weather, because of light, because of whatever the case may be. This is still Nationals. This is still an awesome event. The paddock was still full of people having parties and hanging out last night. This is not. I've seen so many people on social that this was the Nationals to skip. Well, in 5 years, we're going to be talking about what an epic event this was and the way that we pulled together and pulled through it. And we've seen the tire machines running constantly with tires that are run on one set of wheels in the first heat being put on a separate set of wheels to go to the third heat so that people can share rain tires. I'm watching John Thomas bring his FP car down, your day one leader, after a 7-year hiatus on 8-year-old rain tires. All of those stories, all of those things that makes Nationals awesome, they're all here. There's just there's a lot of frustration of people that didn't get the experience that they want, and I wish that they had. But the two factors that contributed to that, water and light, are acts of God, situations that we don't have a whole lot of control over. So hopefully today we'll have better luck with both, and we'll just keep trucking.
Yeah, this was not the Nationals to skip. I can say that from personal experience so far. This was the Nationals to bring extra shoes, though. So if you did that, you're in great shape. Heyward, thank you very much. Once again, we will see you guys with more updates from Solo Nationals all week, live when we have the signal, on tape when we don't. And thank you very much for watching any Grassroots Motorsports channel that you happen to be watching right now, whether it's Facebook or YouTube. We'll see you again soon, everybody.